Sir, am I or am I not standing on the pavement? No, sir, do not talk to me that way. You are an absolutely disrespectful gentleman. You are a disgrace. You're a disgrace, sir. You are a disgrace, sir. I can walk across that. This is a public road and I will walk across this road. I'm good, sir. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. What are you filming?
Good. Do you mind identifying yourself first for me, please, sir?
It's 9-4.
No worries, thank you very much.
What are you filming?
I'm down here to do a documentary on police corruption.
Okay.
So
corruption going on, do you?
There is a lot of corruption going on within the side of Surrey Police Force at the moment. Okay. So the amount of officers that have actually been suspended, okay, and actually you got blue. Okay, so that's nice, isn't it? You just drive off from a member of the public. What an absolute... Now that is what you call an absolute tit. Okay? That is what you call an absolute tit. How rude can you be as a whole, okay, for the way that that was done? Okay? Absolute disgrace. That was an absolute disgrace. Yes, good evening, sir. How are you? No, I'm fine, sir. I'm perfectly fine.
From Staines Police Station. Just quick
nice to meet you, Sergeant.
Can I ask why you're videoing
well, first of all, I know you said you're a sergeant.
Yeah.
3335.
Yeah.
No worries.
Okay.
No, I'm down here to do a documentary on police corruption.
Police corruption?
Yep.
Okay, just to bear in mind that there are private vehicles going in and out of here as well, okay?
Yep, but what I'm doing is completely lawful, apart from when you take that last officer, how rude he was. He started asking me a question.
Okay.
A blue came out, he pulled to the side, he seen me walking towards him, and then literally
I do get that, sir, but this is quite a busy road and they've got police vehicles coming in and out of blues.
Yep.
What I don't want to happen is you to get struck by one of those vehicles, okay?
I'm responsible
can
for
Can I ask you to move on to the pavement?
I'm fine exactly where I am, sir.
I just want you to move on to the pavement so you're not going to get hurt by a vehicle, because there's vehicles coming in and out of here quite
I'm
fast.
big enough and ugly enough to look after myself.
Right, okay.
Okay, I'm completely fine where I am. Okay, as I said, I'm down here to talk to do with how serving police officers feel, to do with the amount of corruption within inside Surrey Police and the amount of officers at this moment in time that are actually on suspension.
You're perfectly allowed to film outside the police station, okay? That's not what's an issue. The issue is that walking across this road, which is quite busy, okay? Because I don't want you to get hurt.
Sir, it's just the same as me crossing any other main road, okay?
No,
as I said,
it's not quite the same as crossing this road.
Right, as I said, I will deal with my own safety, okay, walking back and forwards across this road.
This first contact sets the tone for everything that follows. The auditor calmly explains why he's here, yet one officer drives off mid-conversation and another immediately tries to control his movement. Key point: filming from a public pavement is generally lawful. No crime alleged, no obstruction, just poor communication wrapped in a safety excuse. Remember that, because safety becomes the go-to justification later on.
As I said, okay?
I've given you my name. Do you mind me giving you yours?
No, I will decline on that.
Right, okay.
Okay, as I said, okay, I gave you an actual question, okay? So, as a serving police officer, do you believe that there's corruption within inside the police force?
I'm not going to answer that question at all. Okay.
Well, do you? Well, okay. I will put
an unfair question to say.
Well, okay. I word it different. I word it a different way for you then, sir. Okay.
I'm not aware of anything, so that's what my answer is.
Okay. I put it a different way to you then.
Yep.
Okay. When you look, if somebody was to break the law, right? Do you think that they should be sentenced according to the law?
It's not my decision to sentence, okay?
Hang on a minute. I didn't say any. No, I didn't mention anything to do with a police officer. I'm saying as people in general. If somebody breaks the law, do you think that it is appropriate that they get sentenced from what the law actually is?
I don't make those decisions on sentencing. I can't comment on that.
Well, then, do you believe then that they should be arrested if they break the law? If somebody breaks the law,
not necessarily arrested, but dealt with.
Okay.
You don't need to arrest every single person for breaking a law.
Okay. Right. Next question. This comes off a little bit more. Okay. At this moment in time, I can see that you've got that Union Jack on your. Well, it's not even the actual Union Jack that you've got on the centre of your chest there.
Yeah.
A lot of people up and down the country, and even serving people across and all around the world, find that very, very offensive.
Okay.
Because it's classed as defacing the actual nation's flag.
Right.
Okay. How do you see that?
I'm not going to answer that. Okay. It's my choice to wear it.
Yep, but it's not issued as part of your uniform.
Right. It's been allowed to be worn on the uniform. Okay. So it can stay on there. Right.
Okay.
It's a Union flag.
That is not the Union flag, sir.
Right.
That is not. Could you actually sir, could you actually tell me then? Could you actually tell me what colours are actually in the Union flag? No answer, sir? You don't know the colours in the Union flag?
I'm not aware of them.
Okay, and you can see from that, okay, there's only one small little tiny bit of that, a colour on that one that's actually in the Union flag, sir. So you can see that sergeant made a quick escape when challenged regarding the actual black flag that he actually had on his actual uniform.
This moment is revealing. Officers don't have to debate opinions, but when you choose to wear a symbol on your uniform, refusing to explain it looks defensive. The sergeant avoids simple questions, then walks away when challenged. That retreat matters. On camera, silence often speaks louder than answers.
Because it's not actually part of his uniform, and that's the thing.
So you right?
I'm perfectly fine.
What are you doing?
Pardon?
What are you doing?
Well, first of all, that's no way to greet a member of the public, madam.
No, I just said, are you okay? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing very well.
Okay, good.
Okay, would you mind identifying yourself for me, please?
Pardon?
Would you mind identifying yourself for me, please?
40795.
40795.
795.
No worries, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so you can see that was a fantastic response there, literally from another member of Surrey Police Force. So you can see in the space of 10 minutes, that's 3 officers that have actually approached. So one completely approached and then decided to completely ignore me and drive off. Then you have the sergeant then that comes out, and then the sergeant then completely has no idea what colours are in the Union flag and really didn't care. But as far as he's concerned, that is the Union flag. So as far as the sergeant over here at Staines, that's what he believes is the Union flag. So as far as I'm aware, there's 3 colours in the Union flag, and they really don't care what it is. As far as they're concerned, there's only those colours that they wear on their uniform, because they're even now beyond acknowledging their own country's flag. So as well as shitting on the flag, they also shit on the public. No respect at all. None at all. So yeah, so as I said, for me guys, me actually hitting this police station was literally just on the off chance if I made it back, if I actually got daylight, and whether or not I actually would be able to film anything or see anything. And as I said, been here now in Grand Tutler 12 minutes and 3 absolutely insane interactions here at Staines. It's absolutely bonkers, absolutely insane. They don't want to talk about corruption, they don't want to acknowledge to do with the flag, and it's just an absolute disgrace.
You can feel the frustration boiling now. 3 officers in 12 minutes, each interaction shorter and sharper than the last. Policing Principle 101 is de-escalation, especially when someone is filming. Instead, clipped responses and visible irritation are pouring fuel on the fire. And the sergeant? He's about to return, louder.
Yeah, so, but what an absolutely unbelievable interaction.
Sir, move away from the gate.
I don't need to, sir. No, I do not, sir. Please do not shout at me. That is not a way that you address the member of the public.
I don't shout because I'm quite a distance away.
Sir, you do not need to shout at me like that.
No, you're trying to.
No.
You're trying to get a reaction.
No, sir. You came to me, sir.
Reaction that you probably want.
Sir, you came to me.
I've said to you,
okay,
you can film the station to your heart's content.
Sir, am I not standing on the pavement? No, sir, do not talk to me that way.
Don't
you are an absolutely disrespectful gentleman. You are a disgrace. You're a disgrace, sir. You are a disgrace, sir. I can walk across the road. This is a public road and I will walk across this road.
But if you
I will walk. Do not ever tell me I have not stopped any. You are an absolute disgrace, sir. To tell me to actually not walk across the public road. There you go. I'm walking across the public road. Yes, you just did. Yes, you just did, sir. You are a disgrace. You are an absolute disgrace, Sergeant. Sergeant, you are a disgrace.
Thank you.
Okay, an absolute disgrace, Sergeant.
And you're clickbait.
Okay, you are a complete disgrace, Sergeant.
You're a clickbait, and you're not going to get the reaction you want.
Well, Sergeant, I didn't want a response from you. You came to me. So, in other words, don't be a tick turd and carry on and do what you do and be a disgrace. You're an absolute disgrace, Sergeant. An absolute disgrace. What an unbelievable ignorant tosser. And that is what he is, an ignorant tosser. Okay? For a sergeant to shout at you like that and then to tell you you are not allowed to film where I'm filming, i.e. a public pavement, okay? And also to not walk across a public road. What an absolute arrogant wanker. And that is what he is, an arrogant wanker. Okay, so you can see, so that was the actual sergeant that believes that what he wears on his uniform is the Union Jack. Okay, and he believes that I do not have the right to walk across here. I do not have the right to stand on a public pavement, but yet he tells me I'm allowed to film. Okay, if you can actually see, was there any actual blocking off of any vehicles? The answer is no. Okay, he wanted to actually try and get me to Rowler, but he is an absolute disgrace to his uniform. An absolute disgrace to his uniform.
This is the first real flashpoint. The sergeant shouts, orders the auditor away, and even suggests he can't cross a public road. Legally speaking, public roads and pavements are accessible unless clearly restricted. No cones, no cordon, no signage, just authority being asserted without explanation. Emotional reaction aside, the access argument here is strong.
And that is meant to be Surrey's finest? Come on. And he's a sergeant meant to be setting PCs and PCSOs an example, and he reacts like that. He is a disgrace. Okay? People, please do leave a comment in the box below, okay, telling me the way that you believe that that just actually happened, and what you actually seen. But to have the arrogancy of that sergeant like that to tell me no, well, in honest words, and I know people, you know you don't ever hardly hear me swear at people, but as you can see, I'm by myself again, okay, so there is no public order. Okay, section 5, look, no members of the public whatsoever, okay, that he can go fuck himself in polite words, because he is no more than an absolute tick turd that is a disgrace to the uniform, a disgrace to the country, right, and, wow, I definitely weren't expecting that, and yeah, it's unbelievable how people, so in other words, are you telling me that you have to be a wanker to get 3 stripes on a uniform? For all those good sergeants out there, okay, don't take that the wrong way, but lately there's a lot of wankers, okay, with 3 stripes that have no respect, okay, for the public, for their uniform, and act like that. So, but yeah, you can see, okay, so these are all the vehicles that are left in there, Okay, they just don't like it because I'm doing exactly what I'm legally allowed to. Now, I already told him what I was here for. If he wanted to see about corruption, that is what you call an absolute joker. Okay, the whole reason for having these gates, okay, you have these great big orange lights there, okay, that flash, they bleep, they tell me when the gate's going to open, so I don't stand here like a dickhead like him. And that is exactly what happens, people. So that is Surrey's finest. Surrey's finest, and the way that they are. And what an absolutely unbelievable letdown he was.
Now things escalate verbally. Accusations of corruption and claims about officers listening through the intercom raise the stakes. Strong opinions aren't illegal, but repeated targeted abuse can edge toward harassment. That said, this is still a one-off outburst in a public place. Notice how tense both sides are, and watch how differently the next officers handle it.
How can they seriously think that? So that's meant to be appropriate for the way that they talk to the public and the way that they are meant to actually engage. Not good evening, okay, so I did come out and talk to you. Yeah, would you? Well, even if you did, okay, tough shit. And he's the reason why there's so much fucking corruption. When I said about corruption, okay, he's most probably the most corrupt bastard in the place. He is. He is most probably the most corrupt bastard in the place. And that's the problem. So when you actually look and you've actually got an actual sergeant like that, that is why we have corrupt police officers. So, and yeah, he's most probably taking a big brown envelope every single month, so, and being paid off. You can tell by the way that he acts. No respect for the public, just an absolute disgrace and disgust towards the public. And he wondered why the public and the police are so far apart. How dare he say I cannot walk across the road and I cannot stand on the public pavement? How dare he? Absolute fucking disgrace. That was just so disgusting. So, I think they've turned their intercom on so they can hear what I'm saying. Say that again. So you can see, they've turned the intercom on so they can hear what I'm saying, but they can hear all they want. They are an absolute disgrace. Now they've stopped. There we go. Okay. So, and that was disgusting. So now I'm being approached once again.
Right, sir, you alright?
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Yeah.
Good.
What are you after, sir?
I'm not after anything.
Any reason why you're just coming over here to have a little film?
Yes, because I'm doing a story, sir.
What sort of story?
On Surrey Police. Well, first of all, would all three of you mind identifying yourself for me, please?
Sergeant Miller.
And your collar number, please?
3875, mate.
Thank you very much. And you, madam?
41596.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Delivery 41596.
41596. Thank you very much.
Theo Watson, mate.
Pardon?
Theo Watson. 16358.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay.
Nice story.
Yeah, I'm just doing a story. I don't know if you guys are aware, but out of all of the police forces, Surrey has one of the highest rates of police corruption.
All right.
And literally, I've just come down to see whether or not serving officers feel that they are happy to work with somebody that was corrupt if they did actually find it out. And if you did actually find it out, would you actually do the decent thing and actually inform your superiors on them if you did actually find another officer was corrupt?
Very interesting story you're filming about then.
Yeah.
You been watching a bit of Line of Duty recently?
No, sir.
No?
Okay, this is the actual figures that have actually come out, okay, from the government.
Which website is that on?
Okay, from the government website, sir.
So I might have to go and have a little look at that then.
Okay, most definitely do, sir.
Bizarre.
And that's why I'm just curious to know whether or not serving officers. Now, there's a lot of fantastic officers out there.
Yeah, there are.
A lot of fantastic officers, and that's what a lot of people also have to remember, that the good work that the good officers do. And that's something that should not be forgotten, sir.
No, absolutely not, sir.
And that is why I just want to know whether or not, as a serving officer,
Yeah, I'm not really at liberty to go into anything about my personal views and stuff like that, mate. I've got some people I need to go and book in.
No worries, sir.
I'm just waiting for an ambulance to turn up very shortly. So
No worries, sir, that's fine.
stuff I've got to go and deal with, but you enjoy the rest of your evening.
No worries, and you, sir, take it easy.
Step back to these gates open up.
Yep, no, I'm standing on the pavement, so I'm fine. Okay, yep, that's that ignorant sergeant that came out a minute ago. Okay, that's the ignorant sergeant that came out. Okay, so good evening, gents. How are you? Good. Sorry. I do apologise. I did not see you there, madam. I do apologise. Sorry. I'm doing a documentary, sir. So, would you mind identifying yourself for me, sir? Would you mind identifying yourself for me, please, sir? Sorry? Sorry, I can't hear you.
What are you doing?
I'm doing a documentary, madam.
On what?
Okay, on police corruption.
Right, so no access.
Okay, and that's why, if you can just identify yourself for me, please.
No.
2923, okay, and then the other officer then would not identify himself. Okay, so that's another corrupt officer, okay, with inside of the actual police force. Okay, so that was interesting. Nice interaction from that actual officer in the van. Okay, they were really nice. Okay, really chilled out, and that was a really nice thing. And then that's that sergeant again that came out, literally trying to give it Mr. Billy Big Balls. So, but you can see that the sergeant literally, he wants to give it all the beans. Okay, he wants to give it all the beans. Okay, but he has no idea about what he's actually doing. Oh, Mr. Billy Big Balls. Okay, and that's the thing. Okay, so that's the actual sergeant there. Okay, so he's Mr. Billy Big Balls. Okay, that he is. Okay, so you got that WPC. Well, neither of them at first would both give them the number. So now they're coming up with a plan to see what they're going to do. But as you know, guys, I'm well within my rights to be here, and literally completely rude, arrogant, and out of order. So, but he's now literally just drumming up whatever story he wants to actually come up with. And we'll see what he comes up with. So, but he's an absolute disgrace to the uniform. An absolute disgrace to the uniform. So, and to actually tell me that I shouldn't be here, that what he wears on his uniform is the correct one, is so wrong. So, and he tried to come out like he was the boss, the gaffer, but literally how can he be in charge of PCs and WPCs and PCSOs when he has no idea on how to talk to the public? He's an absolute disgrace, an absolute disgrace to the uniform, and that's the problem. So and yeah, so it's absolutely disgusting. So the sergeant now is actually coming back now, okay, to actually try and engage again, okay, but I have nothing to actually say. I have nothing to say to this sergeant whatsoever.
We have people that come into custody that are members of the public,
so he can actually just carry on the way that he actually wants to carry on.
I'm not sure that they would appreciate you videoing them.
So when you look at the sergeant, he can ramble on as much as he wants.
I've asked you politely, could you please refrain
when you actually
from videoing people
the sergeant
that are being brought into custody as members of the public, alright?
And that's the thing.
I don't think it's very fair, and I don't think that you would appreciate it
and ignorant actual
if you
sergeant
were being
and the biggest disgrace
by a member of the public
within the uniform,
brought into a police station.
And that's the thing. So he's an absolute disgrace to the uniform.
Not prepared to
he is an absolute disgrace for the uniform. An absolute disgrace to the uniform.
Don't call me a disgrace.
You are a disgrace, sir.
You politely.
No, you have not, sir. You are an absolute disgrace, sir. You are a 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 disgrace, sir. I have nothing more to say to you, sir.
Would not appreciate being videoed, being brought into a police station.
Disgrace. Okay, an absolute disgrace. Okay, and that is a sergeant for you. Okay, the way that you're spoken to by a sergeant. Okay, but an absolute disgrace. Okay, good evening, sir. How are you?
Fine. No, it's all right.
Good.
Leave it. It's fine. Cool.
Okay.
I've spoken to him.
Okay. Well, he hasn't spoken to me, sir. He's been very rude and very aggressive.
If you need to speak to somebody, you can go to the front office.
No, I don't need to speak to anyone, sir.
All right, okay.
I don't need to speak to anyone, sir.
Okay.
So I'm here literally doing a story, sir, and literally, yep, the way that your sergeant actually approached me, and
it's not mine.
Oh, I do apologise, sir. So are you not with this station then, sir?
I work at the police station, but it doesn't mean he doesn't belong to me, as in I don't own him.
No, but what I mean, are you a PC?
Yes, why?
Yeah, so he's your senior, yes?
He is a sergeant, yes.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean by that,
that's
sir.
Why I came across a bit
no, that's what I mean by that, sir. Okay.
Lovely. Do you mind moving to the front of the station?
I don't need to, sir.
It's just because this is a turning area.
Yeah, and but as you can see, sir, I'm standing on the pavement exactly where I am, and when a car does come out, I've been standing back.
We have vehicles in here that do reconnaissance work, that come in and out of this actual area, and you being here recording through this gate isn't doing us any favours.
Yeah, but sir, what I'm doing is perfectly legal, and I'm well within my rights to do so.
Well, why?
Because you can't really get to speak to a large amount of officers, okay, via the front desk. This is where the officers come in and out, okay. I've had some nice interactions here this evening. The only bad interaction I've had is actually with that sergeant there.
So why do you want interaction with police officers, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't. As I told you, I'm doing a story about police corruption within inside of Surrey.
What, from a gate?
Okay, by speaking to actual serving officers. Okay.
What are you going to establish? How are you going to establish police corruption from speaking to officers?
Well, no, it's to find out how they actually feel, sir.
About what?
Okay, well, first of all, could you just give me your collar number if you don't mind, please, sir?
I don't feel like I need to because I'm going
Okay, well, even though it's part of your actual policy that if a member of the public asks you to identify yourself, okay, that you are...
a police officer, I'm wearing uniform.
Well, no, that doesn't actually justify as one part of the actual identification, sir.
To be honest, I'm only asking you not to record beyond those gates because we have vehicles in there that conduct.
Well, sir, I've
asked you nicely.
Yep,
and if you don't want to listen to me, that's entirely up to you.
And sir, that is perfectly.
I'm also concerned. Let me finish, sir.
No,
you're talking
sir.
over me. Let me finish. I haven't finished talking.
That is perfectly fine, but I'm allowed to film whatever I can see from the public.
I can see why, unfortunately, you didn't get on so well with the sergeant because you don't want to listen to what we have to say, but you do want to tell us what to say.
No, I did listen first, sir.
But you haven't let me finish. I said I was still speaking, and you were still starting to talk over me. So it doesn't help, does it?
Go on then.
See, you're crossing an area where vehicles come in and out.
But there is no vehicle coming in and out, sir.
I'm going to leave you to it, sir, because I think my colleague tried with you.
No, see what I mean, sir? You won't now answer my questions because now there's a problem, okay? It's like you also should have told me that you turned on your camera as well, sir, okay? So your collar number is...
All the best, sir. Have a lovely, lovely evening.
Yeah.
And enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
If you want to speak to officers.
And that's another officer that fails to identify themselves yet again. Okay. So you guys, you can see, okay, that Surrey as a whole is a very, very arrogant arrogant police force to actually be with. A very arrogant police force to be with. Okay, so he can come up with all of his fantastic words of wisdom, okay, the way that he wants, okay, to say let him speak. Well, I gave him the chance to speak. Now allow me the opportunity to speak. Because you don't, you're just ignorant. And that's the problem. So, and that is what the big problem is. Okay, so another one of Surrey's finest, okay, that completely has no respect for the public.
Excuse me, what are you filming?
Well, could you identify yourself first, please, sir?
Identify myself?
Yeah.
I'm a police officer.
Okay, and what's your collar number, please, sir?
Why do you want to know?
Because you've approached a member of the public, sir. That's why I'm just asking you just to identify yourself properly, sir.
Okay, I'm police next 41274.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, but I was just asking, obviously.
Okay, no, I'm just down here doing a documentary, sir. That's all I'm doing, okay? But thank you very much for identifying yourself. I do appreciate that, sir. Don't worry, I won't get your reg in it either, sir. So you can see from that officer, he asked me what I was doing. He did show me his warrant card, and he then also told me his collar number. So yeah, so at least there is one good officer in the whole place that did completely identify himself, was not rude, and was really a little bit. He's the only one that sort of spoke with a little bit of a chilled voice. But the rest of them, God, Surrey's finest, my arse. Absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. Right, guys, so you can see by the way that Surrey's finest are, and by what they do, it was a complete disgrace. They really do not care what they do and how they do it, and they like to try and flip everything on its head like you've done something. And this is the thing, when you look at that sergeant, how on earth is that sergeant a sergeant? He is what I would call, and sorry if I offend anyone, he is what I would call a fuck turd. Not a tick turd, a fuck turd.
And that's the full picture. One calm officer who identifies himself properly, surrounded by shouting, refusals to identify, and hostility toward a lawful camera on public land. 3 takeaways. Filming from public spaces is usually legal, professionalism diffuses conflict, and safety arguments only work when they're specific, not shouted. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Educational content only, not legal advice.